Here today blesses this marriage. You may be seated. Well, I'd like to welcome you here on this very special occasion. My name is Matt Collins, and I'm a pastor with the Meeting House, and I have the pleasure of being both pastor and friend to Connor and Renee. I want to thank you, too, for your willingness to be flexible as things continue to change in our world, and adjustments had to be made. A week ago, I know it was heartbreaking for Renee and Connor, but we appreciate your patience and willingness to be flexible. It is a real honor to be here today and to participate in this wedding. I met Connor and Renee probably 4 or 5 years ago when I came to the Meeting House in Ancaster. Renee serves in our Kid Max and does an amazing job. Usually when I pop my head in, she tells me to go quickly because I upset the children. And Connor serves on our setup team. He's also my mechanic, and in the last 4 years, I think I've brought him about 9 different cars to work on. But he has taken good care of me. A few hard times in the last couple of weeks with one of my vehicles, and so I just want to give you guys a heads up. We've made some changes to the marriage policy with the Meeting House, and we schedule in marriage counseling as well, and that's going to run you about $9,000. And fortunately for me, that offsets my expenses at your shop. Won't you join with me as we take a moment just to pray? Heavenly Father, we do thank you for this day. And God, even in the midst of this pandemic and continuing changes, we are still here to celebrate this gift that you have given us in marriage. And so, God, we just ask that in these next few moments, we would feel your presence with us. God, I pray that in these next moments, in these next weeks, in these next years ahead, that you would bless Connor and Renee, that you would place a hedge of protection around them, around their home, and that as they look to you, they would grow closer and closer together as a couple. And so, God, we just pray that you would bless them today. In your name, amen. Well, I'd like to take a couple of minutes just to share some thoughts with Connor and Renee. You have the chance to eavesdrop and listen in. And so they have chosen a verse for themselves. And so I would like to share with you some ideas that I think Christ has for us as we enter into marriage. Before we do that, though, I have 25 years of marriage and experience. And so here's a few things that I have also learned that I hope will be helpful to you. Connor, never say I love you to Renee and then call her a former girlfriend's name. That didn't go over well for me. Never wake up the morning after an argument and ask your wife how she slept and then proceed to tell her that you slept fine because you just kept thinking, what are you going to do, leave me? Again, not great ideas in marriage. Never buy a car without checking with her first. I've done that several times. Never announce to the entire church of the new role of leadership that your wife is taking without asking her first. And then finally, never ask if she can wait a little bit longer after her water breaks because the pizza has just arrived. All of these things are key lessons that I've learned in my journey of marriage, and so I hope that you will listen to them as well. The verse that they have chosen comes to us from 1 Corinthians 16, verse 14, and it simply says this: do everything in love. Such a simple verse, yet one the world we live in today seems to turn a blind eye to. A great theologian by the name of Dietrich Bonhoeffer wrote these words: marriage is more than your love for each other. It has a higher power, for it is God's holy ordinance through which he wills to perpetuate the human race until the end of time. In your love, you see only your two selves in the world, but in marriage, you are linked in the chain of the generations, which God causes to come and to pass away to his glory and calls into his kingdom. In your love, you see only the heaven of your own happiness, but in marriage, you are placed at the post of responsibility towards the world and all mankind. We live in a time and a place that does not prioritize love in the way God designed it. For if we truly take to heart those words in 1 Corinthians, do everything in love, well, then the world would look very different, wouldn't it? Instead, we choose to do everything out of selfishness. We ask questions like, what is best for me? What do I deserve? What should I get? The world feeds us this agenda in advertisement, in social media. Everywhere we turn, it calls for me first. And so Christ calls us. He calls us to something very different. This is the post of responsibility that Bonhoeffer referred to in his writings. We have a responsibility as followers of Christ to reflect something very different to the world, and that is love. Connor and Renee, as you begin this new chapter of your story, I challenge you to take these words you have chosen and cling to them. Hold them close. Do everything in love. We don't walk into marriage with a pad and a paper, keeping tabs on what we have done as a checklist to say, hey, here's what I've done. Your turn. No, we do everything out of love because that is what Christ did. He served, he healed, he cared, he fed, he forgave, and he even died, never once saying, it's your turn. He did it because he loved us. Philippians 2 says this: therefore, if you have any encouragement from being united with Christ, if any comfort from his love, if any common sharing in the Spirit, if any tenderness and compassion, then make my joy complete by being like-minded, having the same love, being one in spirit and one in mind. Do nothing out of selfish ambition or vain conceit. Rather, in humility, value others above yourselves, not looking to your own interests, but each to the interests of the other. There is no more I, there is only us. We prepare ourselves to love everyone we come into contact with by loving each other within this thing that we have called marriage. We now look to the other person and ask, what do they need? How can I love them today? How can I help shoulder their joys and their pains? When you do this, then you are prepared to go out and do the same with your family, your friends, your neighbors, and beyond. When you do this at home, it means that you go out into the world together to demonstrate love together. This is the fence post of responsibility that we have. Your marriage will now sustain you and sustain the love that you have for one another. The promises you make now sustain your love. Your relationship with Christ sustains your love. You see, love is not just the butterflies we experience in our stomachs when that special someone walks into the room. No, because that love comes and goes over and over again. The love that God talks about, the love that the marriage holds together, the love that is referred to in that passage, do everything out of love. This is the kind of love we choose and we give without condition, as Christ has done for us. That is the love that carries us through everything. It embraces and jumps for joy with us at the highest mountain peaks of our journey, and it allows us to place our head on its shoulders and weep in the lowest valleys. It is the type of love that will sustain you. And so, remember these words, Connor and Renee. Remember these promises that you make to each other in this place. I'm not saying life will be easy. There will be challenges and obstacles along the way, but together with Christ at your center, I do promise that whatever life throws at you, whatever turns come or obstacles drop in, it will be okay. because these promises and because of the life that Christ modeled for us isn't built on warm fuzzies, but rather commitment, selflessness, forgiveness, and grace. And so now, let us exchange these words of promise. And so, Connor, repeat after me. I, Connor, take you, Renee.
I, Connor, take you, Renee,
To be my wife.
to be my wife,
Secure in the knowledge
secure in the knowledge
that you will be my constant friend,
that you will be my constant friend,
my faithful partner in life,
my faithful partner in life,
and my one true love.
my one true love.
On this special day,
On this special day,
I give you in the presence of God
I give you in the presence of God
and all those in attendance
and all those in attendance
my sacred promise
my sacred promise
to stay by your side
to stay by your side
as your faithful husband,
as your faithful husband,
in sickness and in health,
in sickness and in health,
in joy and in sorrow,
and in joy and in sorrow,
through the good times and the bad.
through the good times and the bad.
I promise to love you without reservation,
I promise to love you without reservation,
comfort you in times of distress,
comfort you in times of distress,
encourage you to achieve all of your goals,
encourage you to achieve all of your goals,
laugh with you and cry with you,
laugh with you and cry with you,
grow with you in mind and spirit,
grow with you in mind and spirit,
always being open and honest with you,
always being open and honest with you,
and cherish you for as long as we both shall live.
and cherish you as long as we both shall live.
And now, Renee, repeat after me. I, Renee, take you. Let me have my moment. No, I'm just kidding. I, Renee, take you, Connor,
I, Renee, take you, Connor,
to be my husband,
to be my husband,
secure in the knowledge
secure in the knowledge
that you will be my constant friend,
that you will be my constant friend,
my faithful partner in life,
my faithful partner in life,
and my one true love.
love.
On this special day,
On this special day,
I give you in the presence of God
I give you in the presence of God
and all those in attendance
and all those in attendance
my sacred promise
my sacred promise
to stay by your side as your faithful wife,
to stay by your side as your faithful wife,
in sickness and in health,
in sickness and in health,
in joy and in sorrow,
in joy and in sorrow,
through the good times and the bad.
through the good times and the bad.
I promise to love you without reservation,
I promise to love you without reservation,
comfort you in times of distress,
comfort you in times of distress,
encourage you to achieve all of your goals,
encourage you to achieve all of your goals,
laugh with you and cry with you,
laugh with you and cry with you,
grow with you in mind and spirit,
grow with you in mind and spirit,
always being open and honest with you,
always being open and honest with you,
and to cherish you for as long as we both shall live.
and to cherish you for as long as we both shall live.
And so, Connor, do you take Renee to be your wife? Do you promise to love, honor, cherish, and protect her, forsaking all others and holding on to her forevermore? If so, answer, I do.
I do.
And Renee, do you take Connor to be your husband? Do you promise to love, honor, cherish, and protect him, forsaking all others and holding only unto him forevermore? If so, answer, I do.
I do.
And now Connor and Renee are going to exchange rings. And so what is the symbol that you bring? Two. You're good, you can go now. And so Connor, take the ring. And as you place this ring on Renee's finger, you need to know that the ring signifies something very special. You see, the ring, there is no beginning and there is no end, which represents your love for one another. There is no longer a beginning or an end to it. It is forevermore. And so to place the ring on Renee's finger and repeat after me. I give you this ring
I give you this ring
as a pledge
as a pledge
of my abiding loyalty and love.
as my abiding loyalty and love.
And now Renee, place the ring on Connor's finger and repeat after me. It'll fit. I give you this ring
I give you this ring
as a pledge
as a pledge
of my abiding loyalty and love.
of,
Of my abiding
of my abiding
loyalty and love.
loyalty and love.
We've been hanging out with Danielle too long. For those that were at Danielle's wedding. For as much as Connor and Renee have chosen to enter the marriage relationship and through giving of hand, word, and ring, have declared commitment to each other today before God and each one of us. It is my privilege to pronounce you husband and wife. Those whom God has joined together, let no one separate. You may kiss the bride. At this point, the couple is going to make this very official and sign the registry. And so, won't you join me? Thank you very much. It's been probably about 7 months since I've sung in church, and it was very difficult not to want to join in and begin singing. Real quickly, just announcement-wise, when we're finished here, I'm going to come down and escort each aisle out, and we just ask that you leave the building immediately, and then head out into the parking lot a little ways. Don't congregate right at the door so that we can all get out, at which point you can socialize from a safe distance. And then also there's going to be something available outside for you to sign, and the couple would love for you to take a moment just to sign that before you leave as a keepsake of this day for them. The last thing we're going to do is I'm going to invite Martin to come as he presents a family Bible. I love this tradition of passing along a Bible to a couple as they get married. What a beautiful gift and a beautiful way for you to begin your marriage with this manual and with God as the centerpiece of your marriage. Well, it gives me great pleasure and honor, and so I'm going to ask you to stand. And as you do, I have the privilege of presenting to you for the very first time Mr. and Mrs. Connor and Renee Fenema.